Hi, folks, and welcome to the Kicking Out of Kayfabe podcast. I'm your host, Colin. Thank you very, very much for joining me here today. On today's show, I have the pleasure of sitting down and chatting with the one and only CT Flexor. Now, me and CT go back a fair while. We went to school together and used to hang around the same circles. But as you know, you get to adulthood, you start to separate and go your separate ways. So when I start getting into OTT last year, I obviously bumped into CT. We started talking on a semi-regular basis at shows and on social media and stuff like that. But this is all completely new to me as well, because I only know about him over the last year or so, a little bit before that I've seen on social media and stuff. But today he's going to take us through everything from his beginnings, how he got into wrestling, his training, and how he propelled himself up to OTT. We talk a bit about the teams that he's been with, the names that he's gone through, and most importantly, why he has no merch. This was a real big point that we stuck on for a while, and he has promised to get some merch out there. This is going to be a really interesting show. I really hope you enjoy it. Here he is, the one and only CT Flexor. Right, today I'm joined by CT Flexor. Hi, CT. How are you today?
How's it going, mate? Thanks very much for having me on the podcast.
Thanks very much for being on. I really do appreciate it. Just for anyone who's watching this as well on YouTube, I'm working with two screens here. So my camera's here and I have another screen here with a few notes and stuff on it. So if I am looking over there, that's why I'm doing it. But yeah, CT, I'm really glad to have you on the show. Obviously, just to let people know, like me and CT go back a few years. We grew up around the same circles. So it's actually very, very nice to have someone that I actually know a bit personally on the show as well. And this is going to be news to me because we went a few years without seeing each other as well.
Yeah, like big time.
Yeah, and
like
I think
graduated in 2006, so it's been a while. Like,
I think we only bumped into each other again then, like last year. So a lot of this is going to be complete news to me. But yeah, if we just get cracking then. So if you can just tell me about like how did you get into, so not how did you get into wrestling, but how did you start getting into wrestling? Like were you a fan as a child?
Oh yeah, I was a big fan as a kid. Like I've been watching since I was like before I can remember anyway. Like, but um, I yeah, I was obsessed with it. Like I just that's all my life was. Like even like you're talking, we went to the same school. Like my two best friends, I was so obsessed that two of them came to me one day in the yard and said, Carl, listen, like you're just talking about wrestling all the time. Like it's actually too much. Like so, it's either like stop talking about wrestling or we're gonna have to stop hanging around with you. And I says, all right, lads, well, nice knowing you. And I ran up the yard and played, like just joined in with the football or whatever. That's like, that's how obsessed I was like with wrestling. That was just 24/7 with myself. Like
Yeah.
sacrificed
And
friends.
then so obviously you grew up with wrestling, so we're talking more WWE. It's what we had over here.
Yeah,
I don't know about
WWE.
you.
Like
Did you watch any of kind of like WCW or anything?
no, that was on. I remember that was on TNT or something back then. My cousin had it, and he used to watch that, and I'd watch WWE.
Hmm.
And like I didn't know wrestling existed outside of them two companies. Like to be honest, I was
Yeah.
so naive to it. Like especially as a kid, like I didn't know it existed outside of them two big companies. Really.
So at what point then did you kind of say, okay, this is something that I kind of want to get into?
Okay, well, I stopped watching wrestling first of all in like 2003, I think it was when The Rock left. Soon after that, like, cause he was the biggest, he was my favorite, and he
Hmm.
stopped, and I kind of just grew out of it then. And then I started watching again 2009 or 10, and then I heard about the school in Bray, the Fight Factory in Bray, and I was just like, oh, I need to try this. Like, just even if I can get in a wrestling just once, just as an experience. Um, But I went out and like it was like 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. training, and I didn't get out of the ring. The guys got out of the ring at 4 p.m. for a break, like a half an hour or something. I didn't leave the ring once. Like
Yeah.
I was getting my mate Craig that came out with me as well that day. I was like, oh, get video, like I'm up on the on the turnbuckle, and yeah, it was just like I lost sleep just counting the days back to the next training session. Like it was just became so addictive. Like
So obviously you must have had a good fitness level then going into it as well.
yeah, like I was in the gym. I was in the gym about a year, and I've always been like athletic. Like I've always played football and stuff. As a kid, then a teenager, and then even a young adult, I played football. And then just always been into sports. So I was in the gym just over a year, I think, just about a year and a half
Hmm.
when I started wrestling. So I had a tiny little bit of muscle on me, and compared to what I was as a teenager, you would have remembered me as like
Yeah, yeah.
I was like this. But yeah, so
And
it's fit enough. Like
did you
start
find that handy then? Did you find the cardio aspect? Because
that it
that's
was
something that
still
you always kind of hear, especially from me as more of a fan from the outside looking in. It's something that you always hear is that the cardio can be really,
yeah.
really tough.
Yeah, you could train your ass off all week, all day long, for it. But like there's different aspects of it. There's training, and then there's a match. So you have a match. There's a lot going on up here. So you're mentally exhausting yourself, physically exhausting yourself, and then on top of that, something you don't have in training is the big bright lights coming down, and they just heat you up like oh like a furnace. So so you have all them things going on. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry, I'm getting a few notifications there.
no,
They're not
that's
popping up on your
yeah,
screen
yeah, that's
already.
that's
Yeah,
perfectly fine. Don't worry
sweet.
about that.
No bother. Yeah,
So obviously you start training in Fight Factory in Bray,
yeah.
which was Paul and Fergal, wasn't it? As far as I know,
Uh,
or was
no,
there anyone else involved?
like they were around, but like the that was when Phil Boyd was beginning to take over.
Okay.
There like Fergal was in Japan, and he'd come back and he'd train us. Like there was a stint where he was down every Wednesday training us for a while.
Hmm.
Paul Tracy was the head coach as well, but when I joined, like Phil was kind of the person that was the first point of contact and stuff. When I contacted the Facebook page at the time,
Yeah.
I gave him a call because I couldn't find it for ages. Like, so I was nearly going to give up, but I found it then, and so he was my head coach, I would say. Phil, Jordan Devlin, Paul Tracy, Justy, Maxer, and then Fergal when he was home from Japan, he would take charge, like, definitely.
Yeah. So whereabouts are you training now then?
I train in the School of Irish Wrestling, which we know from Twitter has closed down due to a knobhead of a landlord. Kicking the School of Irish Wrestling, which is basically the school of OTT, like, kind of thing. Yeah,
We just have some dickheads in the world, especially at the moment as well. I know Joe said that he went out of his way to do everything possible, offer them more than
yeah,
50% of their rent and
he was
stuff,
offering
not to
more than
use it.
50%, like, and this guy is not going to get anyone else in. So, like, terrible business idea, like, like, he's getting 50% of the rent or else nothing, and he chose nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm a firm believer in what goes around comes around, and it wouldn't be any surprise for me for him to get his comeuppance on the back end of that, or
Hopefully.
then Joe to like hopefully he finds another spot out there. Like, I'm sure that there is a lot out there. It's tough times at the moment, but fingers
Yeah,
crossed that
I was talking to Joe, like, not about really about that. Like, I texted him about it and I was saying sorry to hear and stuff, because no one realizes, like, and I don't even realize to the full extent.
Yeah.
Because Joe has a lot of people closer to him than I would be to him, but, like, the work he has put into that, like, and but I said to him, I was like, oh, make sure you keep the school on the south side, you know. So it's the new school. So
that was actually news to me. I actually thought it was out on the north side. I thought it was in town.
no, it was just in
And it was only when I
Ballymount.
seen the post it was Ballymount, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally
Um,
around the corner from my day job, you know.
yeah, so
So it was handy.
if anyone's listening as well or watching, there you go, School of Irish Wrestling. Obviously they don't have a premises at the moment, but hopefully when we come out of this, it's gonna be there, and if you're interested, that's a spot to hit up.
Yeah, oh, big
If you're
time.
interested to
Great,
get
like,
again.
brilliant. Like, don't get me wrong, the Fly Factory, like, I'm Fly Factory by heart, you know, but they moved to East Wall,
Yeah.
and it's just too far for me, like, going through town or even the toll bridge, like, and the M15 stuff. It would be it's just too far for me to get there on a weekly, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, I went over a few times, one or two train sessions and then Johnny Moss seminars, but other than that, I'd like to stay over this side of the city, you know.
Yeah, but that's a good thing that we have with the dynamic of wrestling in Dublin, particularly at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that, like, you train a Fight Factory, you train in the School of Irish Wrestling, you could still be fighting on some of the same shows and stuff as well.
Oh
There's
yeah.
no divide, there's no wall between them. It's a
No.
real case of camaraderie and do what's
Yeah.
best for everybody.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, OTT is the biggest promotion in Ireland. Like, there's no if, buts, or maybes about that. You know what I mean? So everyone's fighting to get on to that show. So everyone has to come together. Like, there's no politics really there.
Yeah,
There's always going to be politics in wrestling and all sorts of sports and stuff like that. But everyone has to come together. Like, so you have the guys who are training in Fly Factory a few days a week, but they're also training in the School of Irish Wrestling once or twice a week at
hmm
least as well. So so yeah, it's good to see. It's great. Like,
yeah. So take me back then. Obviously, you're a young upstart. When did you have your first match? How long were you training first before you actually got your first match?
my first match I was training was I was 3 months in. So I started on the 1st of May 2011. I always remember Extreme Rules was that night. And 3 months later, there was a Fergal Deva weekend long seminar. It was like 55 people or something at it.
hmm
And
I
then
reckon
we
you'd
had the
have 10
gym.
times that number nowadays, though, if
Oh
not
yeah,
more.
yeah, of course, yeah. But I think it was limited anyway.
Yeah,
Like, I think it was limited because of, like, I mean, you can only fit a certain amount of people in, you know. But that went really well for me. Like, I got a lot of praise from Fergal that weekend. I always remember we were doing, like, back body drops and I was landing on my feet, and he was like, "Come here, you," like, you know, he's like, "I could do that at your age," and stuff like. But yeah, I got a lot of praise from, like, um he had to then, I think he had to fly off or somewhere for the show, so he couldn't stick around for the show. But someone asked him like, "Oh, you're gonna work the show tonight?" And he even picked me out. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna work Carl," like, you know. And like, that was cool because I was only wrestling for 3 months at the
Yeah.
time, like, you know what I mean. And I didn't even know an awful lot about him at the time, but everyone was like, he's a big deal, like, you know. So it was pretty cool, like, as someone that was only in the 3 months, you know. So I
Yeah.
had that night I had a match, my first match then. I was the fourth match out and the fourth person out of the court, and so it was like heartbeat time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will
Against Sammy,
best to get
Sammy
it out of
D.
the way with as well than sitting back there
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
all night
exactly,
as well.
exactly. So I was forced out against me, a singles match against Sammy D, who's one of my best friends now, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, and like, I was happy. Like, of course, there was stuff to take from it and learn from. But I was really happy with it, like, because I mean, I was putting crowd work in there as well as you know, like, selling and other stuff like that. Like, so I think it went well. Like, it's on YouTube somewhere anyway. My name was Taurus Rampage.
And where did you
Oh,
get that name from?
jeez. Well, I am a Taurus, first of all, and
Okay.
then someone was like, "Oh, I need to be just more than that." And there was a sign out there, it's like American Rampage Wrestling or something. AWR, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, something like that. Anyway, but yeah, I was like, "Oh, Rampage, here we go. I'll use that."
That was your first match. So what would you say would be your biggest match to date?
Biggest match to date is probably either Tala, the match in Tala Stadium, Tala Basketball Arena, myself and Valkyrie against Raven Creed and Jimmy Havoc, the one and only. So I think that was probably the biggest, especially because it was in the biggest indoor arena in Tala as well.
Yeah.
And then the other one is probably Tala as well. Myself and Zach Gibson. It wasn't the longest match, but it was. No one was expecting me, like, to come out, and the pop that I got, like,
I
was
think I
insane.
think that's a tiny bit of a lie. I think a lot of people expected you to come out, but the pop was still immense. Like
I don't know, man.
I was in the crowd, and there was now not everyone was chanting, but there was some chance
Okay,
of
was there? Yeah.
yeah, there was some chance of Flexor and woke with Flexor and give us Flexor. Um so I wouldn't say that it was a complete
Oh,
surprise,
okay, okay. I didn't
but
hear
no,
it.
there were a lot of surprise faces, and the pop. I was in the crowd that evening, and the pop was unreal, which I think just shows how over you actually are with the fans,
Yeah,
in OTT.
which is crazy for me because I've always been a heel. Like, my old nickname, I used to call myself the full time heel. You know,
Hmm.
it's crazy, but I kind of cheated there because I kind of got two pops because I came out and the girls wouldn't let me wrestle. They were like, "No, no, sorry, Zach, he's not wrestling." So I went sent through the court, and then I came back out. I was like, "Fuck this shit," like, you know. Uh, so I kind of got the two pops, which is cool, like, you know.
It was a very good entrance as well. We you actually had us for a second when you did go back, because there
Yeah,
was a bit of a moan in the crowd then as well, and
yeah,
then you popped back out again, and
back
everyone
out.
just erupted again. It was
Yeah,
absolutely amazing. But yeah, the match against Jimmy Havoc and Raven Creed as well was another
yeah.
cracker.
Like, it,
Were you worried at all going into that with Jimmy?
no,
Because Jimmy can be like, Jimmy has this reputation that, like, he's just mental, like.
no, no. The first thing when I heard about that match was I was like, "It's not a death match, right?" So I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I wasn't one bit nervous. Like, it was pretty cool getting into the ring, and Jimmy Havoc's across the ring from me, and the Tala were still screaming "Flexor, Flexor" if you watch it back, like that. That's class. Like, but so it is great to have that support from the fan base, and
Mhm.
hopefully it keeps going because the talent that's coming up and that's around right now in the School of World Wrestling, Fight Factory, and even up north, all fighting for places on OTT. So you could lose your spot in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So that fan interaction, that connection I have with the fans is very important for me to be staying on them shows as well.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, I do believe in my own talent as well, but some of these guys are just like, yeah, how did you do that? Like, you know.
Yeah, it just shows that the different dynamics as well. Like, you can do everything right in the ring, but knock it over with the fans.
Yeah,
Where
like that.
I think you have the best of both worlds, where you're doing a lot of stuff right in the ring, and you also have the character down to a T. Your stuff
Yeah,
on social media and stuff, which I have a few things that we'll get into later. The stuff
okay.
that you're doing on social media, you and the likes of Debbie and Valkyrie and stuff like that, stuff is sheer genius.
Yeah.
And I think that takes it to an extra level then, and it just shows the social media aspect that's in wrestling at the moment as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Um,
She look at the session with Martina. Like I just look at my whole news feed was just session Mar all day long. All morning long. I was like, but every one of them is getting so much reaction. Like
yeah,
whether it's views, likes, retweets, comments. Like that just shows like so important these days. Like you got to use it. That's your platform. You know.
yeah, that's it. So going away from the ring, do you have another job outside of wrestling?
Yeah, yeah. I've probably had every job under the sun at this stage. Like, I get bored very easily. But the job I'm in at the minute, I'm in it like over a year and a half. It's I'm a bus driver for a company called. Am I allowed to say the company or?
I don't know. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's a new. It is.
I don't
I
know. Sure,
won't.
if it's copyrighted,
I
I'm
won't.
gonna get done for
I
you, be
won't.
grand.
No, no, I won't say it. It's the new. It's
The
the
new
new public
Dublin company.
transport company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So and yeah, so but I enjoy it, like and I've got like I just do Monday to Friday in there, so I'm still out the restaurant on the weekends and stuff.
That's very good.
Um,
Very lucky as well.
yeah, yeah.
Me, I work shift work. Can work any 5 from 7 days. So like, I'd give me right arm to work 5 days, Monday to Friday.
Oh, it's
Um,
amazing. Like not everyone gets that. I seen an opportunity in there and I jumped on it straight away.
mhm.
I do split shifts, which suit me to the ground for my training, for collecting my son in school. So I'm basically going to work 10 times a week, but it's Monday to Friday, so it's twice a day. Like, but that's cool. Um, you know,
And
it
what other
works.
jobs have you had in the past? Is there anything that, like, would you have had any jobs that would have prepared you for in the ring? Or that maybe you used, like I don't know. You hear
Um,
a lot of wrestlers were bodyguards or bouncers or something.
oh well, yeah. Like I was a bouncer for a while. A security guard. I was in the army. Call centers. Cash in transit. Driver. Um, Signage places. Like it's like the list goes on. I literally did everything. Um, but like I said, like I just get bored so easy. But I'm in this job. It's just the longest job that I've ever held down. It's only a year and a half. You know.
Once you're enjoying it, that's the main thing.
Yeah, yeah,
As I said, I was speaking to Callum. Callum's a special needs assistant, and he says it's the best job he's ever had, and he
I
loves
didn't
doing
even
it.
know that.
No,
Jesus, I
neither
didn't
did
know.
I.
Fair play to him.
He works for
Class.
autistic children. He's a special needs assistant in a school. But he says he absolutely loves it, and that's one of the things that if you can get up, as you said, 5 days a week and go to work, or your 10
Yeah,
shifts, and you enjoy what you're doing, that's like gold dust.
yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
not my dream job. It's not my dream job, like, but it is. It's something I like. I don't ever dread going to work. Like, apart from when you get up at 4 a.m. Of course, who doesn't dread that? Like,
yeah.
but you know,
So then going back, then, like, if you were able to talk to yourself, a young CT flexor,
yeah.
just about to get into wrestling, and what you know now, what advice would you give them?
Ooh,
Is there anything
wow.
that you would have wished that you knew beforehand, before getting in, or like I'll give you an example. Callum's was work ethic. He says that he didn't have the work ethic when he started. He wasn't
Yeah,
mature enough, and that's something that he would have told himself to nail down and work hard and work
yeah.
right.
Like, don't. Not that I ever felt it, but don't ever feel you're owed anything. Um, is what I probably would have told myself. Like I said, not that I did, but sometimes maybe I would have been like I don't know. I kind of stopped going training when I was getting booked on shows and stuff. But don't ever feel like you're owed anything. You get
Mhm.
out what you put in, and wrestling is 100% that. Whatever you put into it, you will get out. I noticed that this time around. Like this woke Queen's thing is the best thing that's happened to me in wrestling, like, and it's because I put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh,
But
yeah.
what
So
if you were to so would you give any different advice then to, let's say, a young upstart, let's say someone who's just walking in the doors at the school? Is there anything that any kind of piece of advice that you'd give them? So someone who's maybe sitting at home, maybe listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube, and they're thinking about getting into it. Is there any advice that you give them?
yeah, well, first of all, if you're thinking about getting into it, if you're a fan of wrestling and you're somewhat like athletic and stuff, you know, there's a lot of people that come down and are probably best off. The nicest way I can say it is best off staying as fans. You know, it is something that you're not going to turn into a Will Ospreay or anything. Just if you haven't got it, you have to have that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would just say if like give it a go, like you won't regret it. Like it's amazing getting into that ring and that, like, you know. But just yeah, give it a go and just if you're gonna do something and commit to something, then give it your all. Give it everything you have. And if it doesn't turn out, well, then that's what's to be. But yeah, just give it all you have. Like really, there's
Mm-hmm.
not really much more I can say other than that. But like listen to the people, your coaches, listen to what they're telling you, and yeah, that's really it. You know what I mean?
So
Don't get
just
sucked into politics.
so just another point there as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, the school also does, like, so you could go and train to be like a manager of a wrestler, or
Yeah,
you could
or ref.
do they train referees and announcers and
Yeah,
stuff like that as well?
yeah. Like Foxy has did some work with other people who have aspired to be referees in OTT and other promotions. He has worked. I think I know for a fact when we were still in training the main stage before the School of Irish Wrestling, I was training there for a while as well. Um, he did some work with people that wanted to be referees and stuff, like, you know. And I was even at one stage, like, because of like sometimes I get like neck and hip issues, like I was even considering turning over to being a referee, like, you know. But yeah, I'd probably be a bit bigger than a lot of them in there, so it wouldn't really look right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think if you did go and be a ref, I think you'd have to sell the ref shorts then as well, because they'd be over, obviously. Uh,
yeah, Foot Locker. I'll just rob Foot Locker, like, you know.
who would you say were your biggest influences then? Um,
Yeah, in terms of wrestling worldwide, like was The Rock,
mhm.
Stone Cold, Triple H. They were the top three, like, that I was looking at. Like I said, when I was a kid and even a young teen, wrestling didn't exist outside of the WWE.
Yeah,
So so them three were the be all end all of everything, you know. Like I rated the characters rather than the talent. Like, you know, if you look back then, like even Kurt Angle was back there, he'd out wrestle them all day long. But I preferred the character end of things. Not that Kurt wasn't a good character, but I just thought the other three were the best at it,
yeah.
you know. So they were definitely the inspirations for that.
And obviously you like your weightlifting and your bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I see that you're really big into it. Now I know nothing about it. I've
Okay.
seen it rarely. I think your Instagram account and your Twitter account is probably the most exposure I think I've had to it.
Okay.
If I'm being perfectly honest.
I try not
Um,
to put too much on Twitter with that. I try to keep Twitter strictly for wrestling, but the odd time I
mhm.
will put something up, you know.
But obviously, would you have influences from that then as well? Would anyone inspire you that from that side of things?
Yeah, like in terms of training for the gym, because you got to look right. It's very important for me. That's probably some advice I would also give. If you want to be a wrestler, you need to look like a wrestler. You know, I'm not saying you have to be jacked up, but
Hmm.
you need to look the part somehow. You know, um, so in terms of training and stuff, yeah, like I'm big into bodybuilding, so Phil Heath would be my biggest. my favorite bodybuilder. He's a 7-time Mr. Olympia. So to put that into perspective, he has the same amount of Mr. Olympias as Arnold Schwarzenegger. So for people who
That's
don't know,
yeah. That's
so that is
I know the name, but I didn't know that he was that he had the same as Arnie.
yeah,
Because like
same,
Arnie would be
yeah,
the only one that I'd kind of know over. Now I do know a few spotted names, but
yeah, of course. And Arnie didn't get 7 in a row. Phil, he won 7 in a row.
mm-hmm.
So and he's still not retired, so he could outdo Arnold. Hopefully he will anyway.
So it's safe to
So
say that you're a big Phil Heath, Mark.
oh yeah, big,
Yeah.
not Mark fan. Yeah. I know. I probably am a Mark for him. And to be honest, I've met him a few times as well, which
Yeah.
is cool. And like he's liked a lot of the stuff I've put on Instagram and Twitter and stuff as well. So that's cool. Like when someone that you look up to like that, and someone that inspires you and motivates you is interacting with you.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying that like you looked up to the likes of, and your influences were like The Rock, Stone
Yeah.
Cold, Triple H, I think you said as well, was it?
Yeah, Triple H as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of my all-time favorites. I think he doesn't get the recognition that he probably deserves because
Deserves.
of who he
Yeah.
is and who he's married to and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm probably after losing a lot of viewers there for saying that as well. But like, I don't care. Like, he's phenomenal. Like, but
Yeah.
obviously, being an OTT, then they attract some of the biggest stars around the world as well.
Yeah.
Obviously not the WWE stars. They obviously have particular
Yeah.
types of contract that doesn't allow them. But NXT UK, people that are with AEW, New Japan, um, and some old WWE wrestlers and WCW wrestlers as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm presuming that you've met a lot of them.
Yeah. Meet them all backstage. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever been starstruck?
No.
Never.
Um, no, I wouldn't guess there. So there's very, very few that would get me like that. Like,
Hmm.
you know, like if I met The Rock, I'd be like, shit, you know. But now I'm sounding like a big rock mark, am I? But I am. So it's cool.
Who isn't
Uh,
like?
yeah, who isn't exactly? But no, I've never been starstruck. Like even like I met Mick Foley, like and like shaking hands with him, and it's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
it's uh, himself and Kenny Omega and stuff like that. And no, I wouldn't say I've ever got starstruck. X Pac was another as well.
Mhm.
He was funny dude. He was a funny dude. So
I could only imagine. I'd say there's a lot of stories that he wouldn't be allowed to tell on a type of podcast like this.
yeah,
Um,
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
So, would you have asked any of them any advice? Now, I did ask Callum this as well, and he says it's not really the type of place to kind of
Environment.
ask, or the
No,
environment that you just
it's
kind of
not
like,
because they always get in a bit late. I wouldn't say late, but in terms of how long we're there, they're late. So they
yeah,
got to go and do the meet and greet, and they got to sign some, sell some merch and sign some autographs, get some pictures and stuff. So you don't really want to be annoying them. Like
yeah.
when Finn Balor was over for OTT that time, the big surprise, like
Hmm.
you obviously weren't there
I wasn't
because
there, but I saw it everywhere on social media, and then it
yeah,
was one of the things that actually kicked me to start going to shows then as well when I did
it's
see that.
definite. That was definite. And no one knew, like, there was this big countdown from 20 minutes down, and it was red and black and white, and a bit of a heartbeat going on, and no one had a clue. No
Yeah,
one, like, it was unbelievable. Like, it was, what a pop, like, for him. But when he was over, you're on about advice there, like, I asked him a bit of advice and that, and he just said, just walk everywhere. Fergal was always someone who wouldn't get involved in politics and that. He'd always say, walk everywhere you can,
yeah,
everywhere, train everywhere you can, get as much, just keep walking. Even if these shows are attracting 3, 4 people, it doesn't matter.
hmm,
Get that experience, and that was something that made me do a lot of the wrestling.ie shows. Like a
yeah.
lot of people weren't doing it because they were very hokey and stuff. Like, and the promoter would have you dressing up as a dog or a Chinese warrior and stuff, or like some mad stuff like a duck. You'd be in a duck suit and stuff like. But no, I never did that one. But I think it was an Indian at one stage and a Japanese warrior and sexy boy dressed up in pink fluffy stuff, and but like I didn't mind that because like the experience you got with crowd interaction and just seeing what works and what doesn't work was huge. So like when Fergal said that, he obviously knows what he's talking about. So you're gonna listen to someone like him, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So would you class that as probably the next question that I actually have for you is the best advice you've ever received from somebody that kind of spurred you on to kind of to
Yeah.
set you on your tracks or where you kind of are now, like something that you'll always kind of think back on?
Yeah, no, that would be like it kind of goes with what I was saying earlier, is that what you put in, you will get out. So the more you're working, the more exposure you're getting, you know,
Hmm.
and that's gonna work for you. You know, you're not owed anything. No one can do the work for you. You gotta get up and do it yourself, like, you know.
Hmm.
And no one can drag your ass to training and shows and stuff. But yeah, like that would definitely be up there with the best advice. Like off the top of my head, anyway. There's
Yeah,
probably other stuff, but off the
yeah,
top of my head, that would be up there.
that's cool. So at the moment, are you working for any other promotions outside of
I was
OTT and the
working.
school shows?
I was working for Phoenix in Cork and Limerick for a
Hmm.
while. With rough stuff, myself and Paul. And Paul just kind of got out of wrestling. He had a lot going on in his life, you know, and he just, yeah, I kind of just didn't want to be going down there, like, because we kind of were building this like rough stuff thing, and yeah, I don't know, it just kind of just stopped happening then, you know. Like we didn't say, I think we turned down one booking that we couldn't do for whatever reason it was, whether it was myself or Paul, and then I wrestled once on my own. I ended up tagging with Alexander Dean, and then we wrestled with rough stuff a few times, and then there was another time that we couldn't go down, and then we were in task back. But we had a message then from Billy Bedlam then saying that he wanted to bring us back down, and this was before it was sold. I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't know if they're
Yeah,
still involved or not. But he said, listen, there's always a spot there for you. But Paul hasn't wrestled in a long time, you know. So I was just like, oh well, I'd rather do it with Russell. So I'll wait for Paul, you know.
yeah. Well, hopefully we see Paul back. I've never met him, but I've never heard a bad word about him.
Ah, he's a
Um,
funny ass dude, man. He's a good cat, like, you know. Like,
yeah.
considering we didn't know each other. We didn't know each other before wrestling. He
Mhm.
joined exactly 1 month before me, and now we legit don't go a day without talking to each other. Like, it's mad, you know. We're like bleeding. And if you if you're ever in a car journey with us, we're like husband and wife because we kill each other. We kill each other, man. It's gas, but yeah, no, he's a good dude, and he's very funny, like, which is why I push him to come back and not be that generic wrestler that he was, that I was. Rough
Mhm.
stuff was your generic. I don't know why for so long I just wanted to stay as that generic, muscly looking, mean, angry wrestler. And I don't know why, because the two of us had so much more charisma to give than what that
Yeah.
character allowed.
Mhm.
So
Do you
so
think
I
it was
pushed
the
him.
heel aspect that was holding you into that?
Yeah, like, you know, but we still could have did some funny skits and stuff as heels, you know.
Hmm.
We took ourselves too seriously, I think, and now I don't take this character seriously at all, and it's just like it just works, you know. But he has probably more charisma than I do, if not the set, like around the same, like, you know. He's probably more like he's very witty guy. If you ever follow him on Instagram, you'll see all the mad shit he puts up, and so yeah, it'd be great to see him back, but he needs to come back and train just to get that, because he has asthma, so he needs to get that cardio up, you know. Uh,
Well, hopefully he's keeping himself locked up at the moment as well. If he does
yeah,
have asthma, like,
he is. He
yeah,
is. He's on that vulnerable list, I think. So he's yeah, he's well though. He is well. So
yeah, I'd say it'd be welcomed back with open arms as well, especially by us fans. There's a
yeah,
lot of,
I
as I
don't.
said,
I
I've never met him, but I've heard a lot about him, and he's well liked in the community.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, man. And like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I don't want rough stuff to come back. Like, you know, not yet anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I would
Hmm.
love to see him expand his wings, so to say, and 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 get up there himself and get over on his own, you know.
Yeah.
And then maybe either we always said that we'd like our last ever matches to be against each other. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because we'd kick lumps out of each other, man. So I look forward to that if that can ever happen. So, and
Yeah.
obviously to be no better stage to do it than OTT. But like I said, when this is back, I need to stay on shows. He would need to get back training to therefore get on shows and come up with a character that Joe would be interested in. You know.
Yeah. Well, there, I
Or
Joe Cabray. Hopefully, he's listening.
yeah,
And is taking notes, and Paul as well. Hopefully getting himself fit and ready, like, because to be honest, that's a match that we'd all love to see as well.
hopefully it happens one
Especially if
day.
he's going to go in and just kill each other as well. Like, you
Yeah,
can't be a
like
good
we're not.
good
Listen,
middle.
I'm not going to try the moon salts around. I'm just going to bash his jaw in. And he's going to do it to me. You know.
So you're married. You got married last year.
Yeah, married in October. I got married in October there, and yeah, it was cool. I was supposed to get married the March before, but we had a few losses in the family and stuff, the wife's family and that, so we decided to push it back, like, you know what I mean, just
Yeah.
to give them a bit more grieving time and stuff. Not that there's a time on grieving, but I mean, yeah, it was best to just put it back. But that's a bit of a downer, so let's
Yeah.
bring it
No, I'm
back.
sorry to
Like,
hear
so,
that.
no, that's cool, man. But yeah, so we got married in October of the 18th of October last year.
Yeah. So a bit of a funny story to that as well, because from my end, because it was. Did you get married on the Friday?
On the Friday, are you going to
Yeah.
say that you were expecting me on the show on the
I
Sunday?
was I was in the Spiegel tent on, was it the Sunday?
Yeah,
Yeah, on the
yeah.
Sunday.
My first ever OTT poster, and I
Yeah,
didn't show up. Yeah.
which from my perspective now, I have a holiday home in Wexford, so
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't have to travel for it. I was literally 20 minutes down the road. It was
Yeah.
actually the start of, I go down to Wexford every October because we actually close up the mobile home in October for the winter. So
Okay.
that was the start. I actually went down to Wexford on the Friday for a 2 week holiday,
Okay.
and that just happened to be on. But now I probably would have went down for it regardless. But
Okay.
I remember going into the show, and I remember I saw that you were married. I saw your pictures and stuff like that, and you were on the
I think I
poster.
tweeted it, didn't I? I tweeted it. I
I
think I
think you
tweeted
tweeted
that
it
I
the
couldn't
morning
make it.
of,
Oh, okay.
or maybe the night before. Now, this is the thing about Wexford. I'm not sure anyone from Wexford listening can testify to this. Signal in Wexford is dirt. So if I am down on Wexford, I can't get onto Twitter. I can't
Okay.
get onto Instagram. There's where I am. There's literally like a 4 square meter area that you can stand in that you get a half decent signal. So I'm down there dead to the world, which is one of the things that I love about it. But I went up to
Yeah,
the
that is cool.
show and had a little chat with Joe, and I asked, is Carl on the show or is CT on the show? And he said no, we got married the other day. And I said, yeah, I know, but he was on the poster, so I didn't know that if you were.
Yeah, the poster was out before Joe knew. Like Joe knew I was getting married, like, you know, and but I don't think he just obviously OTT. It's a lot going on, so it
Mhm.
probably wasn't. So I remember seeing the poster. I was like, oh, okay, and I was going to do it and all, but the more I thought about it, it just there was a lot of like it was not a 2 day wedding, but a lot of the family were staying down, so I couldn't really have them. It was a very expensive hotel.
Yeah.
I couldn't have them stay there and for me to just fuck off. Like, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't fair for
I
them.
was
So
actually expecting the whole Flexor clan to show up to the
yeah,
show, because knowing your work ethic, I was kind of like, he's probably gonna get married on the Friday and rock up on the Sunday.
yeah. No, I was going to bring my wrestling gear and all to the hotel and stuff, but because Sammy was one of my groomsmen, and I
Mhm.
think he made evented that against Jordan Devlin,
Yeah.
and so he went, like, he stayed the Friday night of the wedding, he stayed the Saturday night, and then went straight to Wexford then, and he did it, and I was going to do it, but yeah, again, like I could have easily physically been there,
Yeah.
but just it wouldn't have been fair on the family that are
Yeah.
paying through the roof for these prices that, and then the groom just heads off then, you know.
Yeah. So what does your wife think of your wrestling?
Yeah, she's been to a few shows now, not in a long time. She used to come to the early days, the Fight Factory shows and stuff, you know. Um, well, yeah, she's fully supportive of it, like, you know what I mean. She's been supportive. Like, I'm someone when the gyms are open, I'm someone who goes to the gym 6 7 days a week, you know, and like never once, not on Mother's Days, not on her birthday, not on Stephen's Day, New Year's Day, never has she ever said like, "Oh, can you give it a miss?" Like, you know. So she's
Yeah.
very supportive of that in terms of wrestling as well. Like, you know, like I flew to England a couple of times to wrestle over there, so full weekends after work on Monday to Friday, and yeah, like she'd just be like, "Yeah, enjoy, have a good one." You know, I think
Yeah.
she's glad to get rid of me sometimes. You know.
They always are. My missus is the
Yeah,
same. Like, but that they say behind every good man. But
true.
you said that she went to a few shows early days.
Yeah.
What would her reactions be? Would she be nervous before the matches?
No, she understands. She understands what, like, she understands you can get hurt because I've got hurt
Hmm.
in plenty of matches. Um, but no, I mean, maybe she will be a bit nervous, but not too much. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like my son has never seen me wrestling. He had to get grommets in his ears years ago, so he couldn't be in any like loud environments and
Hmm.
stuff. You know, so he has never seen me wrestle yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's kind of only getting over that like in the last year or something, but he still is a bit apprehensive of going to shows that would have like that many people in it, you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely. That brings me to my next question. I was just about to ask you, do you have any kids? And you
Yeah,
have a
so
son, and I believe you have another on the way.
yeah, so I have a 6 year old son who's obsessed with wrestling. His name is Kai, and he has a little brother on the way now as well that we just found out about the other day. Like, we knew we were expecting a kid, but we found out it was a
Mhm.
boy on Thursday. So
Congratulations.
just, yeah, thanks, man. Delighted. Yeah, a little tag team in the way. I'll be their manager or something, you know.
Rough stuff
Yeah,
2.0.
yeah. Like, you know, Koi is obsessed. Obsessed. Well, Rough Stuff 2.0 will probably be Koi and Paul's little kid, Caden, you know. So, but yeah, no, I'm delighted, over the moon, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been happy either way, but I'm delighted it's a boy, you know.
Mm. And sorry, what age did you say Kai was?
Six.
He's
He's
six.
six now. Six and
So
a half.
he obviously knows that you wrestle as well.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And
He has,
he
like,
has
he
he
has,
hasn't been to a show, but has he watched your shows? Has he watched the on demand or anything?
he watches them online, you know, and he
Yeah.
watches, he always likes the worst ones, you know. Yeah, like there was one match that we had that was a stinker. It was against the Kings of the North. It was actually Rough Stuff's debut, but he loves watching that. But that's like one of my worst matches to ever watch. Not because it's the Kings round, of course. It
Mhm.
just didn't go to plan on the day. It was horrendous.
There was a bump in there that I was really worried about. As I said, like I only started watching last year, but
Yeah,
doing a bit of research for this, I went back and I had a look at a few clips and skimmed a few matches, and that was one
yeah.
that I actually watched. And Paul had a bit of a rough bump,
To
dive
the
to the
outside, was it?
outside,
Yeah, his head caught the
and hit
chair.
the chair. Yeah,
His head caught the chair. Yeah, and yeah, that was. He was fine after that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, he screwed his neck up another time in the Tivoli Theatre against Club Tropicana. He really fucked his neck up with that one. Again, it was no one's fault. It was just the way he took a DDT. So,
hmm
but yeah, it was fine. Yeah, but yeah, just to go back to what, like, my son watches all the shows, you know, and he'd be like, "Oh,
yeah,
play it again," you know. Like, he has like two figures that, if you know, Duncan Disorderly from
yeah.
the Kings of the North,
hmm
he's made two figures of myself for my son. You know, one with the orange trunks and one in the black Rough Stuff gear. So he
Very good.
loves, like, yeah, he loves them. You know.
And is he itching to get to watch it?
No, that's the thing. Like, I've offered him there. I wrestled for NLW. Sorry, that's another promotion I wrestled for. Forgot about that earlier.
That's a
Sorry,
pretty
Jamie.
cool promotion as well. I
Yeah,
was at I
yeah, I
was
love
at
it.
there
And
for I was at one of their shows there recently, the last one out in Nice, and it
yeah,
was
the
a really
Mount
good show.
the Mo Theatre is one of my favourite venues to wrestle in, without a
Mhm.
doubt. It doesn't hold a lot. I think it holds about 253 at the max. But yeah, but it's enough. Like,
Yeah.
and it's one of my favourite venues. Like, that's where I won my first ever piece of gold, the Irish tag belts with rough stuff, you know.
Mhm.
So excuse me. So yeah, he's not really itching. I offered him to go, but again, I think he's still a bit apprehensive, and especially because I was the heel, and I had to explain to him that I can't come out, son, and like you're there trying to get high fives
Yeah.
at me. I can't, like, you know, I have to stay true to the character, like, you know.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. So he was like, oh, well, I'll wait until you're the good guy, you know. So so most like so yeah, maybe the next contenders that I'm on,
Yeah.
he
Just
can.
just here's a question off the top of my head now as well. Like you're kind of a face now.
Yeah,
Um, but
I
you're
think so.
but you're back with the WoW Queens, or well, with Debbie. And anyway, we don't think
Yeah.
we've gotten a response from Valkyrie yet, have we? Um, so are you technically a heel again, or are you all faces, or
No.
it's a very strange dynamic that's going
I
on.
could sit on that fence. I have a nice little cushy pillow on that fence there that I sit on, and I can get away with some heel stuff, but I like being liked, you know.
Yeah,
I like the crowd to like me, so I'm always going to give them a wink or give them something to cheer,
yeah.
and then I'll be like to the girls, I'll be like, "I'm sorry, girls," like, you know.
Which is easier?
Oh well, like it's easy to be your everyday heel, you know. It's easy to go out there and get a boo, you know. You
Hmm.
just put the hand out to some little kid, you go shake your hand and you rub your hand through the hair.
Yeah,
That's easy to get bills and stuff. Yeah, I would say heel would be easier, but then when things are going well for you, like I don't have to come out to court and now and be like, come on, because I hate saying that. That's
yeah,
something that should be illegal. It should be illegal. It should be allowed to say, come on, you know. They will come on if they like you, you know.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, when things are going well with being a face, it is not easy, but it's good. But it's probably easier to be a heel. But
Yeah, I think that's the
it's hard to
consensus.
be it's hard to be a unique heel though. You know, you don't want to just go out there with your eyebrows down and like growling at the crowd, like, you know.
Yeah.
Give them a proper reason to really hate you,
Hmm.
to really like, you know.
I think the best wrestlers out there, in my opinion, are the ones who can turn it like that.
Yeah,
Like in my opinion, Triple H, Chris Jericho are probably two of the best in the world at doing it. Probably Chris Jericho I would actually have up there as number one. Are able to just he can just turn on a 2 cent coin. Like
yeah. I don't know. Big Show has had about 30 heel turns. You know, I know, yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm only kidding on that one. It's yeah, Chris Jericho was very good at that, like very good. Um, Kevin Owens too. I think he's did it a few times with the
yeah.
whole Chris Jericho thing
Hmm.
as well. So yeah, it's not easy to do. Like it isn't easy.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I'm liking babyface Flexor at the minute,
yeah,
and
so
it'd
am
be a
I.
shame to have to go to shows and boo you because I do like you, but
Yeah, yeah.
like if you start being a dick again, I'm gonna have to.
Man, I'm always a dick. I just don't show it.
So in the wrestling scene, or it's more outside the ring, but in wrestling. So obviously you said Paul, you don't go a day without talking to him.
Yeah,
Would you class him your best friend in wrestling?
in wrestling, him and Sammy would be my best mates. Like without a doubt. Yeah,
And would that be a small knit group, or
like we're
like
not
obviously
really.
they'd be your best friends in wrestling, but like
Yeah,
this is something that I've spoke to a few people about, and that you see as well that the dynamic in the school, the lads that are in the school at the shows,
yeah.
everyone is just so tight. Everyone is so nice to each other. You don't ever see any kind of bitterness or remorse, and everyone
No,
digs in.
that does
Um,
happen. That's like that. it's a front for a lot, and I don't want to like tear it down because like it is very positive what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
there. There is a bit of backstabbing in wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
in every
Of
aspect of it.
course, yeah.
But honestly, yeah, OTT has helped to bring a lot together, a lot of people together. And if I show up at a show, there's nobody that could be there that I'd be like, oh Jesus, you know, there's no one that I actually dislike, you
Mm-hmm.
know. There
Yeah,
would be there'd be no one there that I would be like, oh, go away, like, you know.
yeah. As we say, that there usually is always one,
Yeah.
but it's nice to
I've had.
have
Don't get
that
me
as well.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've had my fair share of run-ins with some people. Like even last year, I did. I won't name anyone. I had a
Yeah.
run-in, but we ended up squashing it at the next show.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, even him, if he's there, I would go over and say hello. And to be no animosity there, not on my end anyway. I just
Yeah,
life's too short for that crap, and I'm
exactly.
too old for that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so. So there's no one that I particularly dislike in Irish wrestling. Like,
Mm-hmm. So you walk into a show, is it a thing that, sorry, just from my point of view, the
yeah,
thing is, from us fans, is that you walk in, you shake everybody's hand.
yeah, oh yeah, you gotta shake hands, man. It's a big thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
A lot of the people want to keep it, and a lot of people wanted to go, and particularly now.
Yeah.
You know, we put a poll up there on Twitter last week or the week before, and I said something along the lines of, "Is the handshake the ever so loved?" I don't know what way I said it, but the ever so loved wrestling handshake, ever so important wrestling handshake, is it gone forever? Like, and the poll, I think there was like, I don't know, over 100 votes anyway, and they voted yes that it is gone. Like the majority did anyway. You
I
know,
think I
so I
think
don't
that could
know.
be a scare thing as well, based on the climate that we're in at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but don't get me wrong, I think I actually did vote on that poll, and I think I did vote yes, it probably is gone.
Yeah, like
But I
I
think
couldn't
that
see the vote. So
I think the whole point of it is, the whole point of the wrestling handshake is, it's a respect thing.
yeah,
And it's to go in
it's
and say hello and be respectful to everyone else who's there.
yeah. But if you go into the stadium on a stadium show day, and like there could be well over 100 people there, like, you know.
Hmm.
So if you come in any way late, it's hard if you're kind of rushing around, and then that respecting doesn't really turn into a respecting because it's only a quick handshake, which is more disrespectful, I think, than not doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
Not that I ever thought about that. That's the first time I ever thought about that. But like, sometimes it can be a burden, but of course, like, I will go out of my way to try and shake everyone's hand. You
Yeah.
know.
I think David Starr said recently, when this virus was at its initial phases, I think back in February, maybe the start of March, before it really kicked into gear,
Yeah.
he was asked about handshakes and was he going to continue the handshake, and he said that he shakes hands with everybody who walks up to him to buy a piece of gear, and he says it's kind of a respect thing, just to greet them as they're coming up to say hello to him, and he brings his hand sanitizer or his antibacterial stuff with him to
Okay.
use, and he says that that's a necessity that he brings everywhere with him. And I don't know if his opinion has changed coming out of this, but that was his opinion at the start of it, is that it
It's kind
should
of
be
hard.
kept.
It's kind of hard to get rid of it. It's just an instinct thing now.
Hmm.
Where what do you do? Like, you just walk up and stand apart, and like the fans want that interaction, even if
Yeah.
it's a little arm around the shoulder, or it's like even touching shoulders, or you know, like Martina gets right up there, starts grinding on some fans and stuff. You know, the fans want that, and that's what they're paying for. They're not paying to stand 2 meters away, so
Yeah.
it will be interesting to see how it goes, and the handshake is like a little icebreaker, and it makes the fans feel more at ease,
Yeah.
and it even helps the wrestler be like, right, that's the our initial meet and greet done,
Mm.
and then we get on to our pictures or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it absolutely does. From my perspective, it does kind of put you at ease a bit, just as a first hello and
Yeah.
a smile and a handshake to kind of break the ice does go a long way.
Like if
Um,
OTT bring John Moxley back over and you meet him and you go over and you try to shake his hand and he's like, oh no, no, like you're gonna understand why he doesn't want to
yeah,
shake hands, but there's still always going to be that little bit of a oh fuck's sake, like
yeah,
there is going to be no matter what that's the way it is. But we're gonna have to respect people's decisions with
of
that as
course.
well.
Yeah.
If someone's like, nah, listen, I'm sorry, I don't do that anymore because of this, like
Hmm.
but then he's gonna get in and like bear hug another man that's sweating out of every pore in his body for 20 minutes, So
Yeah. But listen, let's take a look at your OTT career now. I have your matches up here,
okay,
who you've kind of fought. So you started out, your first match in OTT, I believe, was Martinez Gaff Party.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
buddy
you
bros.
you very rudely interrupted Foxy's birthday celebrations.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're gonna have
Um,
to jog me memory with these ones now.
so I think it was a bit of like you were full heel in this one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was. I was looking at it going, oh, I don't know. I think Martina got called a fast slut at one stage.
Ah, yeah, yeah. That's no
And
bother. Yeah,
stuff like that. But yeah,
that doesn't
so
matter.
so you were with Adam Maxted and Brian Abs.
Yeah.
Were you working with them before this?
No, I didn't even know them to be honest. Joe just messaged them was like, "Listen, I have an idea for you. Are you still wrestling?" And I was like, "Yeah, what have you got for me?" So I went and the lads came down from the north, met at main stage, and we just had a chat. And yeah, no, sure, that was shocking. Like I'm glad it happened. Great experience, but it was shocking. Like if you look back, like Jesus, I'm wearing these baggy tights and they have flames on them, and the lads are not matching. And then a bit later on, they started to match gear, and I still didn't. I was just, I don't know. Because I was out of wrestling a while then, I kind of said I'd take a break from it when my first son was born. And I just never got back in. And then when Joe messaged me, I was like, oh, I'm not going to turn it down because I was at one of the other shows as a fan, one of the OTT shows. And I was like, this is taking off. I'm not going to turn this down. So I didn't have a chance to really order gear. And back then, like it took about 8 weeks to 12 weeks to get new gear made. So
Mhm.
people were probably like, this lazy shit isn't getting any new gear. He's still carrying them flames around. But it was just that I was waiting on new gear to be made, really.
And did you would you say that you were more experienced than the other two?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I don't know because Brian was around a while as well. In terms of, it's hard to say actually, but in terms of
Well, how
matches,
about if I was to ask you, did you learn anything from the two lads? Would you say that you took anything away from that run with the Body Bros?
no. Not from the run. From the run, yes, because the shows that we were on,
Hmm.
but I couldn't say that I learned back then. I don't think I learned anything from the lads. No,
Yeah.
maybe now I've speaking to Flex a few times and working with him recently in Belfast in a tag match. Possibly took a few things from that, but not back then. No.
I think that was a good throwback as well, that Belfast match.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Um,
It was actually considering maybe like we the bus was late, so we turned up and I had 10 minutes. We as the four people to plan the match and shit. We had hope not lifting the curtain too much there, but like everyone knows now these days that it's predetermined and shit. Oh, really? Uh, but yeah, we had 10 minutes to get changed, do the promo that we did, the guitar promo where Flex also sang,
mhm.
and plan the match 10 minutes. So considering we had 10 minutes to do all of that, that match went really well.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the types of people who you wrestled as well. So you've had a very short run, I think he's had 5 matches as a trio and 1 match just you and Brian.
Yeah,
But there's some good names in there that just faced off against like Be Cool, Justy and Sammy. I
yeah.
think they were gone by the gymnastics back then, were they?
Gymnastics, yeah.
The gymnasties. And then
Yeah,
Angel Cruz and Nikki. Just throwing it out there. There's probably, yeah, I think those 5 names that I've named are like well up there in my
yeah.
estimation as well.
Lads
Like,
from the
so
flats. We wrestled
or the
lads from the
lad from the
flats
flats, yeah,
twice,
Martin and
I think.
Walkie as well, yeah. It was actually, yeah, with Paddy. That was actually the last match by
Paddy and
the
home. Oh,
3
yeah.
of you. And Angel Cruz and Tyler Bate was in there as well.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, I think you were on the losing end every time
Oh, yeah. Oh, we lost
as well.
every match. Yeah, it was. But we didn't care. Like we were serving our purpose. We knew we weren't coming in as a, a powerhouse trio. Like, you know what I mean? Um, and yeah, we were waiting on that force win, and it was coming. And then Adam went onto Love Island and then came back and kind of pushed for a singles career, and then it kind of just didn't escalate anymore. Then, but like we got some serious heat. There was good potential there to turn us into like a good heel trio, you know,
Hmm.
because everyone legit hated us. Like it wasn't just wrestling. Oh, we're supposed to do these. They actually hated us. So I
So
remember
you,
one of the fans gave out online. It was me, the other 2 lads. I'm big on staying in character, especially when you're in the same building that you just have to be in the ring. And one of the fans came over and he got a picture with the 2 lads. He asked me, I says, "No, I can't picture with me. You're not good enough for a picture with me." Like, you know, and I was just being my character, like,
yeah,
you know. And he went on and wrote a big review on the Irish Wrestling Forum and stuff, and giving out. He never named me, but he said one of the Body Bros, like, and that was me. And
yeah,
I'm proud to say that was me because I was staying true to who I was portraying in the ring. You know, he should have
yeah,
expected the same.
absolutely. Yeah,
You know,
I've been on the end of that treatment, even as I said, in the last year or so. Like, I've been on the end of that. Most recently, Damien Corvin, up in Belfast,
yeah.
gave me that treatment. He was fighting Star in the main event. I went up to have a chat with Star. I walked past him. I said, "Best of luck," and he read me the riot act.
Did he?
Yeah, I
Good
was wearing
man,
my
Cody.
independent shirt, and he actually read me the riot act and made me look like an absolute tick. Um, but I went back to me see my missus was there as well. No, she wasn't up there with me, but I goes, Corvin's just after chewing me out, like. But I loved it.
That's a good thing, man. It is,
Yeah,
like, you know, like, ah, yeah, you shouldn't break character. Maybe you've seen him the next day in a shopping centre or something, and you went over to say hello, that you're a fan and stuff.
yeah,
Like, fair enough. But like, you're in the same building that like,
hmm,
yeah, just stay who you portrayed to the fans in the ring. There's no good saying you suck in the crowd and fuck yous and shit like that, and then here, can I have a picture? Of course, mate. Yeah, how are you? How are you keeping? That
yeah.
doesn't make sense to me, you know.
Hmm. So after you finished up with the Body Bros, that was your last match. There was December 2016. We didn't see it again in OTT until May 2018.
Yeah.
So you were obviously, I presume that you were working through all that just with different promotions and stuff.
Yeah. Mainly, I was working for Pro Evolution in England a few times. I think I was over there 4 times, 2 on my own and 2 with Paul, or 1 on my own and 3 with Paul, maybe. Yeah, something along them lines. And then I worked for CCW down in Cork for that whole time.
Did you have any
So
bad experiences down there?
no, man, no. So many people do, but
Yeah, no, there was a few horror stories.
yeah, there is
Yeah.
so many people, man. But like I said, I'm not getting sucked into that shit. Like,
Hmm.
Lee Cahalan never. Initially, when he brought us down, he screwed us over with payment, and we had this big argument and shit. And me and Paul went for him and stuff like that, and we ended up sorting it out. And then there was another stint there when we didn't go down, and then he brought us back, and then it was nothing but good experience. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did see him speaking down to a few people down there in ways that he shouldn't have. Sorry,
Yeah.
um, but me personally, he's been nothing but nice to me. We were undefeated down there, you know what I mean? So he put the straps on us, and then it went downhill after that. Then for the company, and then when Phoenix came around, he was still gonna run. And I spoke to both parties. I said to CCW and to Phoenix, listen, I'm gonna work for both. Have you got an issue? And none of them had an issue with it. And then it kind of went away, and then Lee then said, "Oh well, I might actually still run it." And this was a while then after working for Phoenix and that there, and I was just like, "Nah, no, man, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, it was a good experience. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not getting into these Friday night wars." So yeah, so I just left it at that then, you know. But no, I didn't have bad experiences apart from the very first time, like I said, which was years before.
Coming into May then, how does that come about then, that you and Paul end up coming back as a team then? How was that facilitated?
Well, we were always a team in terms of continuing on with CCW, but in terms of OTT, is that what you're on about?
Coming into OTT as a team then, yeah.
So Paul was up then training quite a bit then, and in main stage with myself and obviously the rest of the crew. And so Joe was just like, yeah, I think we're going to give you the shot there and put you in with the Kings, like, which we were delighted for, because we wanted that match for a long time. And it wasn't our fault, it wasn't their fault, but the timing issue with that match, we're planning it, was shy. And the lads will agree with that, all three of them will agree. And yeah, we had to go home. We had to finish the match a lot earlier than we thought for some reason. I don't know. We just misjudged the timing of it, and kind of looked like a squash match, to be honest. Yeah, I've never been happy with that. Like, hopefully, I mean, I don't know. It's not something that like I dreamed about, but like, if Paul gets back training and I continue to train and we get back eventually, it would be good to get that match just to another run at it, you know.
Rid the demons of the first one.
Yeah. It was just bad timing altogether as well, because I mean, the Kings they lost a few times, and then they had the stadium match the night before, and if they lost to Aussie Open, they were done for good. So they just beat Aussie Open. They're hardly going to go and lose a match.
Yeah.
The following day. So the timing, not only of the match but of the actual event, wasn't ideal for us, like, because we were never going to win.
So, like, I watched the match. Obviously you see it as a bad match. Me looking from the outside, you don't see that. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was a quick match. I understand that if you had stuff planned that just didn't get in and stuff like that. Obviously, that's stuff that you know about that. But from a fan perspective, I didn't know what you had planned. I didn't know that it finished earlier than it should have. It looks fine from my end.
The rest of the match is a story, Colin. You know, and basically, if you're reading a book and you just rip the last few pages out, except for the very last page. You know, so you rip, if there's 10 pages, you ripped page 9, 8, and 7 out. You know, you're going to be like, well, that finished a bit prematurely. Like, you know, there was none of the stuff where that was going to make us look like a new force to be reckoned with in OTT.
Yeah.
You know?
And do you feel that you got that then in your preceding matches then after that?
No. I don't think so, no. Like, we had our follow-on match then was against the Armstrongs.
Yeah.
We've had 5 matches against the Armstrongs. We've beat them 4 times and they beat us once. They beat us once because one of them was very close with one of the bookers, or was one of the bookers. I'm only kidding. I really like the lads and I really enjoyed working them. But we've worked them 5 times, and the OTT one was the worst, in my opinion.
Okay.
Out of the lot. So again, I don't know. We fucked it up that day, I think. Um, I was happy with my personal individual performance in that match, and one of the Armstrongs was happy with their performance. But the other two, obviously, the one on my end is obviously part of it. It's not me. He wasn't happy, and neither was the guy that he probably worked with the most in that match. Neither. They were really not happy, and wasn't great, like, you know. But then the following match after that was my favourite match of all time, maybe, which is Rough Stuff against Paddy and Martina at WrestleRama 2.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's only 8 minutes bell to bell, that's like 7 minutes and 50 seconds or something. It's still my favourite experience in wrestling to date, I think. It's up there. Like the Woke Queens, some of the stuff like the Tala Stadium and Zach Gibson pop and stuff is up there. But to share that moment with one of my best mates, like in the ring, Paddy M's music hits, and I was in the crowd, and the ring was moving, shaking, just because of the crowd, the atmosphere. And I remember looking at Paul and I was like, man, this is fucking amazing, you know. Honestly, the sound of the fans were hitting my chest, like, and amazing. And we weren't expecting that match, really, because the first two matches in OTT weren't the best, so we weren't really expecting that call from Joe, but he gave it to us, and appreciate it very much, like, and it went very well, like, you know. It was actually on Retro TT recently on the OTT on demand, and Paddy spoke very highly of myself and Paul and that match, which is, as an Irish veteran, one of the best, if not the best, Irish wrestler of all time. Or at least performers, you know.
He's definitely one of the most underrated Irish wrestlers.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Like, I mean, he's not underrated because everyone likes him. Everyone knows how talented he is. But I get what you mean in terms of, because you have Finn Balor and Jordan and all, they're all on a Sheamus, they're on a big pedestal here, you know. So, or big platform, sorry. So if Paddy got to show his abilities on that platform, well, then people's mind would be blown. His selling is second to none in this country of all time, ever.
Yeah. The one thing that I get from watching him as well in the ring is some of the stuff that he's doing. You're looking at it, and it's not easy by any way, shape, or form. But he makes it look so easy.
Yeah,
like, he's just doing it so natural to him, and you're looking at it, and it's like, I can't believe he just did that, but it was so easy to him.
It's crazy. Like, even that thing he does, like, he was doing that well before Tyler Bate. With the slingshot off the rope when you catch the back of your neck. He was doing that a long time before Tyler Bate. But geez, I tried that one time and nearly killed myself. Like, you know, just tried it for the laugh. Like, you know, oh man, everything is effortless from Paddy, you know. And then he throws in his charisma. Like, he's halfway doing a senton bomb or whatever, and he's like he and doing the Michael Jackson. I can't do it. That was shit. But yeah, he's charismatic and very talented.
Yeah, he's absolutely one. As I said, probably one of the best Irish wrestlers around. And I think, in my opinion, Paddy was due a big year before this happened. And hopefully he gets back to where he was once this Corona stuff is finished with. Because I think everyone wants to see him and Eddie go again as well. That was probably, like, that was it. It was a mental match.
Yeah, it was madness. It was good. I watched it from upstairs through one of the windows. Like, it was very good. And I think before the match against Rostov, he kind of, that little break, he kind of lost his mojo for a while. You know, remember he was on a stadium match and he was kind of like a bit, you know, he didn't know whether he was coming or going. And I was like, Paddy, you're mad. I'd give my left testy to be on this show, like, you know. And he's like, man, I know, it's just, but I understood that. Then a while later, it happened to me. It's literally like an off switch. It's like literally like an off switch in your brain. You just can't love it anymore. And thankfully, it came back for him and myself, you know. For a while, people don't know this, but I was barred from the Tivoli for a while. one of the shows, I was outside and had a run in with one of the bouncers that was on a power trip, and he barred me. He told Joe that I was barred. So, not that I was going to be on them shows anyway, but I was like, well, I'm not going to be on them now, so I'm not going to train for them anyway. You know what I mean? So I stopped training for a while, because it's hard to train for something without purpose. So yeah, I mean, I could have having more Tivoli matches. No one will ever know. But yeah, I got barred. Fuck it. But I only put up today on Twitter as well. I was like, did anyone ever realise that Tivoli backwards spells I love it? That's a strange one.
That was during the show, was it? That you got barred?
Yeah, that was during the show. Yeah. I wasn't on the show. Now I was there. I don't think I was. Either I wasn't on the show or I was already after performing. He barred me and then let me back in that night, and then told Joe that I was barred then again. So, but he had a few run-ins with one of the imports. I won't name them, but they're actually working for WWE now. And he also had a run-in with a few of the other Irish wrestlers. He was just on a power trip, really,
Okay.
But I didn't want to do it.
If I do this a bit, does that help?
No, actually not him. No.
Okay.
No, one of the imports.
Oh, sorry, import. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Not import killer. Wasn't the import killer.
Sorry, I missed the import part.
No.
Yeah, so again, that's just, I've never been in the Tivoli. It's one of my biggest regrets, because I've seen the tapes, and like it looks like such a hot area. It's so small as well. Like around that ring, like I'm going back and watching a couple of videos, and I'm seeing people doing dives, and I win every time.
Yeah, no room for error. Like the atmosphere in that place. One of the biggest pops was Fergal coming out. Another one was Kenny Omega getting announced. I actually physically seen some guy pull his own hair out with excitement. Literally had a handful of his own hair from when Kenny Omega. And then there was one time that Marty Scurll was there and no one knew. So they're probably the top three pops. I heard Raven Creed winning the belt is up there as well, but I wasn't there, so I can't speak personally for that. But yeah, some serious atmosphere pops in there. Like,
yeah, hopefully that we can. I'm not sure about what you think about this. Actually, we'll talk about this for a sec. Is the KFRC the new Tivoli? Is it the new home of OTT?
Possibly for the time being, but I don't think it's the permanent one. It could be, but it's too big. I think it's too big to do every month. Unless, I don't know, maybe the fans need to start buying season tickets.
Well, the thing is with OTT as well, you're saying that it's too big for every month, but I think the last 3 or 4 shows have actually sold out.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah.
So you can see the growth is there. Now, they're probably not selling out immediately, but I think, was it Take Me to Your Lead or The Road to the 5th Anniversary? That sold out really quickly.
Yeah, but you see, I think it holds about 7. Maybe about 7. I know the Tivoli was 550. The Tivoli actually got limited from the Ted show, which was, I think, our second show. I had about like 680 in it, and the fire marshals or whatever was like, no more than 550,
Yeah.
So so after that then, so maybe, I think Tally can hold about 7. That's a rough guess, actually. I don't know where I picked that number out, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm thinking of Shore Road. So
yeah, no, I really like the KFRC venue. I think it has a nice feel to it. And it's actually, I think it's where you got your biggest pop as well. Was that in the KFRC?
Yeah, that's the Zach Gibson place.
I think I was up on the stage for that.
Well, I got a big pop there, and then I also got to introduce the other big pop of the night. Not saying there was only 2, but another one was bringing Katie Harvey back then as well.
Yeah. Well, that brings us into the dynamic that you had with the girls. Do you have any input in the likes of this? Would you? Is this a thing where Joe says, "This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go"?
Yeah, but we could turn it down, like, for sure, like, but that's not going to be a smart idea, like, you know. I
Of
mean,
course.
if I was running a promotion and I offered someone something to run with, like, and he said no, then I probably wouldn't give him my next idea, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But are you always bouncing ideas off him then? The
Oh
opposite
yeah,
way? Yeah.
of course, yeah. That's what he wants.
Hmm.
He wants to see some initiative there, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so when he first, it wasn't really an idea that he pitched for us. It was just more so a match, which was the myself and Valkyrie against Sugar Dunkerton, is it?
Yeah.
And Martina. So he pitched that, like, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'm easy. And so we went and filmed the first promo where I kind of just jump up on the ring beside him and I'm there flexing my pecs and then, you know, and the crowd just seemed to like it, you know. The fans, sorry, not the crowd, online, like,
Yeah.
the fans seemed to really like it. So it just picked up from there. Like even Joe said it himself. Like, he said, Carl, I just gave you something small to run with, and you've made it grow. Like,
Hmm.
a lot for yourself, you know. So, and he gave me props for that, and like, obviously I give him props and thanks for the opportunity to do so, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's pretty cool.
we do get input. Yeah, sorry, to answer your question, we do
Yeah.
get input, and we do talk.
So it's such a strange dynamic then, you coming into this match, because you and Valkyrie as the absolute bad bitch of a heel.
Yeah,
And I love that character from Valkyrie as well. But you just seem to be the happy-go-lucky baby face, just happy to be there and
yeah, I was just happy to be there. Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
that the sun shines out of Valerie's hole as well at the same time, of
yeah.
Valkyrie's hole at the same time.
Jesus, yeah,
Um, Even though the last thing or all she wants you to do is go away. It's such a strange dynamic, which I think feeds very well into the crowd as well.
yeah.
Um, did,
It
did,
does.
did,
It gives them something to pay attention to. You know, it's something like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next, and how is he going to get her to tag him in, and
Mhm.
how is, you know, like, there's so many
Yeah.
dynamics there that the crowd are invested from the get go till that bell rings at the end. You know.
And are you feeling that then when you were out there? Like, you're feeling that crowd feed the good guy from you and the
Yeah.
the bad heel
Yeah.
from
I mean,
Valkyrie,
yeah,
like.
yeah, because they're always going to feel bad for someone who's getting bullied, and especially someone who's getting bullied that doesn't realize they're getting bullied. They're
Mhm.
like, "Come on, open your eyes, man, open your eyes," you know. So, and that was always the idea as well, like, get them to pity me, like, you know,
Yeah.
because
So
without the pity, there was no liking and stuff, you know.
yeah, absolutely. So you start doing I think it was after that you start doing a lot of stuff online. The 3 years.
Yeah.
I think that's when you start doing the kind of woke with Flexor stuff. The woke bloke or the woke prince as well, I think, was another one.
Prince at first, yeah, Woke Prince,
Um,
you know.
the woke bloke, I think, has a good ring to it.
Yeah, Woke
But
Bloke is better.
you start bringing out some very inventive merch as well.
Yeah,
That you start wearing.
I thought it was very basic, but people just seem to really
It
like
was
it.
it was very imaginative. It really was, like the WWF thing. When again Elias is doing the WWE thing, you're doing the
Yeah,
WWF thing. It's
yeah,
people could relate as well. I think because it's on the mainstream, it helped relate a
yeah,
little bit as
of
well.
course.
But
Yeah, without a doubt.
yeah, like if you're saying it's basic, like the fans are chomping at the bit.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was it wasn't something that I thought that would be like talked about. So, like, I've had so many private messages and tweets at me, like, asking about it and stuff, but I just thought it'd be something that people would laugh about and then forget about, you know.
Hmm.
Um so it was nice to see that there was a really good reaction from it. I kind of originally wanted it to be something that, I mean, when you can't have something, you want it more, you know? So people were asking me, oh, come on, release this. And
Yeah,
I was like, no, I'm not going to. Like, you know, it's going to be one of them things you want, but you can't have, like,
yeah.
you know?
I think I actually asked you about this at a show one time, about your merch, and when's the merge coming out? And like, I'm up there with one of those fans, like, get it out there, and I'm buying it straight away. And I think that's the answer that you gave me, was like, make them wait until they want it so much, and then make them wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. I don't want to release that, and then like, where's all these purchases that people promised? You know, I wanted it to be something where people are like, okay, it's finally out, I'm buying it straight away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think you're there now?
I don't know. Like, you have to be modest as well. Like, yeah, I don't think so. It depends how many I release as well. Like, you know what I mean? I probably wouldn't, if I have an idea in my head for another T-shirt. So I probably wouldn't release the Woke with Flexor, or else the Always Eternally Woke with Flexor T-shirt straight away. There's another idea in my head that would probably involve the girls as well. That I think people would really buy into. So I would probably release that first and see if there's interest. But again, like I said, like, if I'm not on shows, well, then people are not going to want to buy. So what I got to do is I got to wait till this shit is over and get back training, get back on shows. Like I said, it's a competitive market, getting on these shows. Get back on them and see if the crowd are still buying into CT Flexor, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just jump ahead a little bit. The last time we saw you, the last time you were in a match was actually in September, but the last time we saw you was at was it the Road to Scrappermania show?
Yeah, it would have been when me and Debbie reunited.
Yeah. Which was real emotional. It was a real emotional moment, and I think it's a testament to yourself and Debbie and Valkyrie of how much promotion you do, how much work you do online, on social media.
The girls, in the run up to that, the girls did so much work with the whole bus chasing me, trying to find me and stuff, you know. And they came to me and they pitched some ideas of me being involved. But I said, I think it'd be just better if you just keep doing your thing, and there's no sign of me. There's there's not even a text back from me until the show, you know.
Yeah,
I think that would have been better. Like there was going to be even a glimpse of me driving the bus past them and they're running after me, CT, you know. So, but I thought it was just better to keep it as it turned out, like, you know.
Yeah, there was a bit in that video as well, that one where they're scouring Tallaght looking for you.
Yeah.
It was a good call to me because I'm from Tallaght as well, and seeing the areas that I know as well was a bit cool. But there's a bit in it where Debbie falls into a bush.
Yeah.
And drops an F-bomb, and that just had me in absolute hysterics.
A lot of people, I actually don't know. I can't remember if that was on purpose or not. But like, Debbie is a genius with stuff like that. Like, she will make something look like it wasn't supposed to happen. You know. And so I don't know whether that was actually whether she legit fell or not. But she's a great actor. So I would say it probably was on purpose, but done so well that it comes across that way. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe
fair play to her for leaving it in as well if it was on purpose, because like, if that's me, I'm taking that out.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like me. That show when I came out to reunite with Debbie, I came out and I started dancing and the floor was soaking and I slipped and fell. Do you remember? Did you see that?
I don't remember you falling.
No, I fell and I got back up and I looked at the floor and I was like, oh well, and kept dancing. And all the other wrestlers were like, oh, that was genius doing that, Carl. I was like, man, I didn't do that. I legit fell, like, you know. So like, I was like, I'm not taking credit for that, like, because that was a legit fall. I smashed my knee off the ground and all, like. So, but yeah, but it's you have to.
I think Macklin may have cut that.
No, it's there, but
there's kind of smoke.
There's smoke in there, right. And you can I think my name is up as well, so you can't really see me hitting the ground around. It's pretty dark and stuff.
Okay.
So, but Matthew was a big fan of that. He texted me saying he was laughing his ass off. So.
Right, so I have a couple of fan questions here as well.
Okay.
So I did reach out to a few people through the OTT fans Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're on it.
I see it sometimes because I got invited. I don't follow it because I don't really want to be seeing everything that you're discussing. I would
Mhm.
rather just get your initial feedback from the energy you give us in the ring and stuff
Yeah,
like that, you know.
there are a
Uh,
couple of lads that are in it that are competing. There's not many,
okay,
but I think
okay.
it has about 600 in it at this stage.
Very good. That's
It's a
good.
very good community, very positive.
That's
Tommy
class to see.
Flynn was the one who set it
I
up.
know Tommy. I know Tommy, yeah.
He's a good lad. But that's where I threw this up, and then I also threw it up on Instagram and got a couple off Instagram as well.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'll just fire them out. So
Yeah,
Patrick PW said, who came up with the Dublin bus idea? Did you
that
have
was the
any involvement
girls.
in that?
No, not with the idea. No, I did shoot ideas back and forth with them, with it. But that was initially all the girls. That was the girls' idea,
You weren't
hundred
driving the
percent.
bus, were you?
No, no, no. We were gonna get permission. We were gonna get permission to shoot on one of the buses, but it takes a lot of emails and a lot of stuff,
Hmm.
so we didn't. So that was the girls. I can't take any credit for that. That was the girls. Debbie's
Did
mine.
they put the
Debbie.
bus in because you're a bus driver as well, though?
Yeah, because there is a good few fans that has been on my buses, like,
Hmm.
because I drive a few different routes. So there's a few
Yeah,
fans that your generic wrestling fan is very awkward and shy, like, so they'll get on and they'll put their head down or something, but some of
yeah.
them will talk to you, if you ever get on my bus, by the way, just say hello. That's no problem. Just say hello. If you don't want to say hello, that's fine too. But yeah, don't make it any awkward. But yeah, no, but like a lot, most of them, it's definitely the two girls, but most of the ideas came from Debbie. Debbie's mind never stopped running with these ideas, so for props to herself, like,
Yeah, she's
and to her
phenomenal
team.
even now as well. She's doing a lot of stuff
Yeah, the coffee
on
stuff is,
if you don't follow Debbie, follow her on Instagram and Twitter. She's amazing. She's like hilarious. She does have us in stitches. I think that did she take a spoonful of dry coffee there,
yeah,
poured a bit of
yeah.
water in it.
That's commitment, man. That's
Yeah,
commitment.
absolutely. I couldn't even think about doing it. Oh,
There may not be a new video from myself and Debbie coming soon, so keep an eye out.
there you go, lads. Here to hear
There
first.
we go. This
Um,
won't be out. It'll probably be out before this podcast. So
possibly. I
so
might push this up ahead of ahead of the other one. We'll
I
just
don't know.
change this.
Let's
This is
see.
episode one. This is an episode two.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Tommy Flynn, who we were just talking about, asked, did someone inspire you to do comedy wrestling?
No, but Paul has always pushed me to kind of show more character than what I used to show. So he would be someone that, like, not inspired me, but he pushed me to do so. I got a bit of inspiration for the Voglo character from. If you ever seen the movie Central Intelligence, The Rock and Kevin Hart in
Yeah,
it, The Rock is this big, muscly guy that's like thick,
yeah.
like, he's stupid. At least until the last few scenes. Spoiler alert. But he that kind of guy. If I just watched 30 seconds of that before I did, the first ever promo I did, like, proper, was just a little clip off my phone for Twitter after me and Valkyrie beat Sugar and Martina. Was when I walked into the change room. I was like, oh, me and Valkyrie were besties and stuff like that. Kind of, like, yeah, that would inspire me to. So it's not inspired me to do comedy wrestling, but it
Mhm.
inspired the character
Yeah.
that in turn is a comedy wrestler. That's a
Do you
long
enjoy
ass
it?
answer.
Do you enjoy the comedy?
Yeah, more so, more than I thought I would.
Hmm.
Um, to go back to advice that you were asking me about earlier, like, that's one other thing. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
If you do, it doesn't work. You won't get anywhere. Even if you are a serious character, don't take it too seriously. Just be natural, but just turn the volume all the way up.
Hmm. It's very sound advice. So Adam Green then asks, what
Ah,
do you know Adam Green?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's
so
probably
Adam
classy
Green
as a
asked,
friend now. Yeah.
why are all your mates named Adam more jacked than you?
Uh, but probably because they eat more calories than me. But like, are they as lean as me? Is what I would put back there. Are they more jacked? Yeah, they actually are. Adam's not your he's not your everyday wrestling fan. Like
Okay.
he's jacked to bits. Like he would walk in. Not I'm not saying wrestling fans are like any way, but he is just like even like to a normal person in the gym, he's pretty big, like in that, and he's
Mhm.
tall and stuff. So fuck you, Adam. Yeah, but yeah. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, I'll be as jacked as you one day.
So sorry, that was Adam. Bobby Iceman on Instagram asks, as a natural heel, is it hard to play a baby face when the occasion calls?
Bobby. That's Bobby. Bobby Iceman. I think that might be Bobby Calloway that used to wrestle. Yeah. He actually sent me a big write up there last week, a 4-page write up he did on me before. It was interesting reading now, but sorry, what was that again?
He's as a natural heel, how hard is it to play a baby face when the occasion calls?
I think we spoke about that a bit earlier, didn't we, Colin? But
Yeah.
yeah, it is hard because, like I said, you don't want to go out of court and just be like, come on, like begging for them cheers. You
Mm-hmm.
You have to give the crowd something to relate to, something to cheer, something to look forward to, and something to invest in. Them things there is very important. So it is. There is a bit of pressure there to perform, but yeah, it worked out well for me, I think.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that answers this question.
So Trezor_T on Instagram as well asked, who's the best worker in Ireland at the moment, in your opinion?
Tressa is another friend of mine. The best worker. Oh, so many. Like this. I mean, how do you? There's so many different ways you can like. There's so many different types of performers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard. Paddy M, B Kill, Session Jordan. I'm forgetting so many there. Like, but I'm just gonna throw them out there
Yeah.
as performers right
Going
now.
on with you on that, there's a long list of people that could be there.
It's hard to say. Like, if you a similar question to that would be who's the best ever to come out of Ireland. Now, if you're to ask me that, I honestly think for all around it would be Jordan. Honestly, that's it would be between him and Fergal. But
I think I only
sorry,
tweeted that the other day as well myself.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I
Jordan is
think all around,
arguably better than Fergal.
I would, yeah. I love the two lads, but yeah, I would probably say Jordan would be the best
Mm-hmm.
ever. But in terms of performers right now in Ireland, the most underrated, doesn't get enough credit right now, is Sean Max O'Reilly, without a doubt. Doesn't get enough credit, not
Yeah,
even near enough. The chap
absolutely.
is unreal. The chap is
Yeah,
unreal, and he's only given you is about 30%. Wait, and he gets a fire under his ass. Wait, and you see, yeah, that guy can go,
yeah.
100%.
So Sean McKiernan asked, has anyone nominated you to do a 5K?
Yeah, I've been nominated a few times, and I've did them, but I haven't actually posted them up myself. Like, I haven't nominated anyone myself because I think everyone's been nominated at this stage.
Yeah.
But I've did a few. I try to do 2 or 3 a week, and just because I train weights all week, and yeah, I feel a bit more accomplished when I get a big sweat on from my jogs. Not to be
Yeah.
disgusting around, but it's a good releases different sorts of endorphins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do a few 5Ks a week.
He asked the second part of this. He asked, can you cartwheel it?
I've cartwheeled it once in my sleep, backwards, upside down, just once though.
So Colin from right here on the Zoom call asks, are you ever going to hit the alarm clock?
am I ever gonna hit? Hopefully, man. Hopefully, I need to get that elbow pad off though. It's distracting me long enough to get my opponent to recover. You see, that's the issue with it.
Yeah.
I need to believe in it. Like, I need to just believe I can hit it, and hopefully with the right energy. Because it's a move that requires electricity from the room. Pardon the pun. But
I think I love the I don't know if you watched the match back, but the match that just had against Modern Hype, where you had the two boys down.
Yeah.
But they actually went to that wide camera shot as well. The old one that they
Yeah.
used to do for The Rock, they pan
Yeah.
right back as well on you in the
Yeah.
ring. It's an amazing move. It's very inventive. Obviously, you're taking the people's elbow and putting a flexor spin on it.
Yeah.
But it's extremely inventive. And hopefully one day you're gonna actually hit it.
I hope so, man. Hope so. For
So
sure.
the last fan question. So
Okay.
Patrick, who has already asked a question, Tommy, Sean, who have all already asked questions. Sean actually asked this in block caps, and he actually sent it to me 4 times. Asked, when are
I
you
think I
going
know.
to release your merch?
Okay.
Now we
So
did already speak about this,
yeah.
but as I said, the lads they're chomping at the bit here for the merch.
Listen for it. Like I said, it's a very competitive market. So what I got to do first of all is I got to get back to training. I got to get back on shows. And this idea, for my first show, I'm gonna print the new idea. I'm gonna wear it out. And if you like it, I will 100% release it then. And then if you still want to walk with Flexor, or else the always eternally walk with Flexor, the AWWF one, maybe get a poll going which one of them they would prefer or something. Colin, you could do that poll. You
Yeah.
have my permission.
Well, I tell you what, like you can put me down for one of each. I'll revolute you the money whenever you want it. But I'll absolutely take one of each. And to be honest,
Okay.
as I said to you already, like there's people out there that are looking for this. They want to wear your gear as well. And like me as a fan, like I love me wrestling t-shirts. I think I have about 50 of them. I'll hopefully be able to show them off through this podcast as it evolves. Like I'll wear a different one each time. But the fans definitely want it. Like
no, I definitely will. Like, I think I've been neglecting that part for a while, and I guess it's just like I said, you got to be modest, and I got rough stuff t-shirts before, and I did sell a good few of them. I think I bought 50, and I sold like about half of them. But I remember the first show I brought them to CCW. I went after the show, and I was like, "Oh, did I sell any?" And the girl was like, no one bought any,
right.
I was like, "Oh, that's going to be shit." It was a cool design. It was like half my face, half of Paul's, and some of the wrestlers, some of the other wrestlers bought it, and I even gave it to some of the other wrestlers. I ended up I think I still have a few, like somewhere, but yeah, that kind of just disheartened me. But again, we were heels, and not half the character that CT the woke bloke is. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, if you listen to Jericho, well, obviously he's after changing his stance, but he believed that heels shouldn't sell merch. Well, up until his current run, because
I don't know. Triple H had some
usually selling them.
pretty good merch.
Yeah, absolutely. But I firmly believe that as a face, don't be modest here, but like you're one of the most over faces in OTT at the minute. I reckon you could sell a lot.
Hopefully, and I started realizing that when I came back through the quarter from the Zach Gibson match, and Jordan came over to me, he was like, "Man, that pop was insane," and even the way the look on his eyes and stuff, So it was nice to hear from, like, back then he was the locker room leader and stuff,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was I kind of just have to start believing in myself rather, and then just not that I don't, but it's hard to accept when people want to buy something with either your face or your name on it, or your wrestling name. So it is nice to hear all this feedback, and I'll definitely 100% when I'm back, we'll have a t-shirt just to give you a little taste and give you a bit of warmth back there after this long break, and then the following show, then they'll be ready to go.
Excellent news. So the next stuff that I have, and this is the last thing, this is what we finish on, and I plan on finishing every show on this. It's the list of quick fire questions. I have my random number of 22. I think you said that's your birthday.
It's my birthday, yeah, just gone. 27th of April.
So as I said, they're really quick. You can expand on them if you want. Like there's
Are they all wrestling related, Colin?
No.
Okay.
Not they get into it. Well, they're all wrestling related, but they get into a few like outside the ring kind of stuff as well. So we'll kick off. Who's your favorite wrestler?
Rock.
The Rock. Excellent answer. Do you have a favorite wrestling theme song?
I probably shouldn't say the Rock's one. That motivates the fuck out of me. But other than that, what do we have? I like Edge's actually. I like Edge's.
I think everyone has Edge in their top 4 or 5. Like
really, yeah.
Yeah, that's up there.
That, or else, Triple H's one from 2000.
My Time. Was it My Time?
It was the one he had. I'll never forget. It was the SmackDown before the 6-pack Hell in a Cell. He had them all laid out when it started playing. It's out. It's on my gym playlist and all this.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is My Time. What? Actually, you wrote a song.
I did.
You wrote a theme song.
The One Queens one, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I read that. Yeah.
That's.
You know what, man? I have so much thinking time when I'm driving my bus that's how I came up with that. I didn't even write it down anywhere. I never wrote that down. It's just out of my head, you know. So yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to try to dig that out and throw that back up again. Yeah, that was pretty. That was a pretty cool song as well.
I'll give it a retweet maybe later or something.
So what's your favorite match that you've ever been involved in?
WrestleRama 2, Paddy M and Martina against Rough Stuff. I'm just going to say that it's a tough one, but possibly that one.
Yeah. Favorite match that you haven't been involved in?
Of all, like wrestling or Irish wrestling.
Give us both. Give us your all time, and then give us your OTT or your Irish one.
My favorite is probably WrestleMania 17 main event, Austin and Rock.
Yeah,
it just stands out.
Mm-hmm.
It stands out. Favorite NXT say would be Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne when Pete first won the belt. I've watched that match a million times as homework and just from appreciating it. Mm-hmm. And then Irish would probably Walter and Jordan Devlin WrestleRama 2, possibly because just the atmosphere, like the crowd. I believe the crowd thought Jordan was going to retain that, and even I was like, he has to. This will never happen again, you know.
Yeah.
But that's up there. That's up there. Actually, one trumps that. Jordan and Marty Scurll against the Uptown Funkers in the Tivoli. That's the first time I ever said to Jordan when he came back. I said two things to him. One, he had a big knot in his back because I could see it from when you were on the apron. I was like, you need to get that rolled out. And number two, man, you're playing with the big boys now. That was the first time I realised that he is the real deal.
Excellent. I'll have to take a look at that. I've never seen it. So I will have to go and have a look at that one. So have you had any injuries?
Yeah, I've had a few. I went blind for 2 days in one eye. Someone stuck their thumb in my eye down in Cork.
Lovely.
I won't get into it too much. Stuck his finger in my eye. He got a receipt. Then I also cracked my ribs in the first move of a very match. So everyone scattered. This big guy's in the middle of the ring, also down in Cork. Belly to belly slam. He didn't take his arms out. I didn't know it at the time. I knew there was something wrong, but cracked my rib. Had to finish the whole match, which was a 4-way tag team elimination match that we won. So we were into. You
had to go all the way.
All the way with that cracked rib. I dislocated my thumb in an OTT match. Nothing apart from whiplashes and stuff like that. Nothing else sticks out from there, I don't think.
So what's your worst one?
The eye was the worst. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I had a patch on for 2 days. I was blind. The antibiotics was working. I had to go to the Eye and Ear Hospital in Dublin and all. And I was driving home that night from Cork with Jordan and Paul. And
you obviously weren't driving.
No, them two lads were. I was fucked if I was driving because there's not a chance. Them two lads just talked to an whole journey. I was in the back. My eye was like part, like, because obviously it's just a defense mechanism for your eye. It just kept watering, like buckets of water coming out, like. And then the next day I tried to open it, and any sun that hit it was like excruciating. So it was 2 days of being blind, but probably a full week or so of being having a patch up there, you know.
Yeah, I can commiserate there. I got a highlighter marker in one of my eyes years ago, first year in school. I don't know. Like this is actually a good thing to good time to ask you. With me, I can see brighter out of one of my eyes than the other one.
Oh no, I think
No
mine
after
is the
effect.
same. No,
Yeah.
no, there's no after effect. No, thankfully, Jesus, you would have got more than a receipt. Yeah.
So who would you say has the best mic skills in OTT at the moment?
Ooh, David Starr, hands down.
Yeah, definitely up there. Barry? Does Barry stack
Uh,
up to him?
probably like a pre-recorded promo, which is because I haven't seen enough of Barry out in the ring.
Okay.
Like I know he has did it, but
Yeah.
he does more so pre-show promos rather than in ring. So I would say definitely still David Starr. But I'm
They're the
looking
two in the community that seem to be popping up now. That's why I brought Barry up as well, just to ask your opinion on him there as well.
Yeah, another good guy. I'm looking forward to see if he can do it in the ring. He can definitely do it in the promo. Is Steve Carvel from up north.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know him, but
I've seen
he's a
him
real
once with he was managing what was his name?
Curtis Murray.
Curtis Murray. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was managing him.
Steve is a very nice guy, and he's talented as well, and he has a great gimmick, and he can talk. He can talk for days. So, good way. But yeah, David Starr is absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So this one, no offense to anybody else.
Yeah.
And there's loads of them in the dressing room. But if I was to give you €1,000 and say I'm going to give you odds of even money to put this €1,000 on one person to make it big in the wrestling industry coming out of Ireland, who's your money going on? Who's your one shining light at the moment?
Scotty Davis. I truly believe Scotty Davis will be the best wrestler in the world one day. Like absolutely voted for, whether it's PW 500 or whatever rating you want to give. I think Scotty Davis will be the best wrestler in the world. I've said it for years. He'll be the best wrestler in the world one day.
Yeah, it's shocking to think how actually young he is as well. Like, so do you have a guilty pleasure favorite wrestler?
Guilty pleasure favorite wrestler. Ooh, John Cena. John Cena, man. I was never a fan, and I went to a WWE live event in Dublin, and it was such a mark. Just before his wrestling, it was his first match against The Rock. No, I was wrestling only a few months, and it built up to his match with The Rock, and I was screaming when he came out, Rocky, Rocky, you know, and he came over and he put his arm around me. His arm was so heavy. he put his arm around me. He was like, "Where's The Rock now?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a good point, man." But still, The Rock's still my favorite. But yeah. Then I kind of paid more attention to him then, and you have to appreciate the work he's put in. And to put that much work in and not, while you're not getting the appreciation back, apart from the young kids and that, it's hard to do. And not to mention the work he's did for Be a Star.
Yeah.
You know, all them wishes. So he's my guilty pleasure wrestler, for sure.
It's a great answer. The next one was about merch. I'm not going to ask you about that, so we'll skip that one. So yeah, you have merch on the way for the next. Yeah, it's on the way out. So who have you had the best chemistry in the ring with? Just everything just clicked.
Do you know what? I'm looking forward. I hopefully will get a singles match with the Session Mart one day. I think myself and herself, we've had like 2 matches. It's only been 2 matches, but them 2 matches are probably in my top 5 matches of all time, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And she's involved in 2 of them. Yeah, even Paddy, after that Wrestle match, said Paddy messaged me. He's like, I'd love to see a singles match. You two just clicked in there,
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'll say Shimo.
Excellent. She's some goer as well.
She's brilliant.
So do you prefer to work as a singles or a tag?
Tag.
Is that just because you're more accustomed to it?
That's because my cardio is shy. How many No, I just like having more people. The more people I have to bounce off, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Think about me trying to do. Imagine me trying to do this rope blow thing without the girls if they weren't even involved in the start.
Yeah,
so much harder. So definitely tag. Watching wrestling, I'd rather singles.
Right. So what are you watching during lockdown?
Movies. I can't commit to a series, man. I don't know why. There's so many different ones to choose from that I don't know what to pick. And
you
I
watched Tiger King?
Yeah, I watched that actually, but that's only like
that's something that everyone's watched, like
7 episodes or something. So that was fine. I could commit to that. But I watched Shooter not too long ago, which is cool. Which is not very popular, but there's a movie Shooter as well with Mark Wahlberg. But there's a series, which is very good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I devoted 6 years of my life to Lost, and I'm still lost. So,
it's in my top 5, Lost.
Oh my god,
we won't get
Lost
into
is in your top 5.
Yeah,
shit, man.
Yeah,
leave that for another day. Like.
Yeah, we won't get into that. So one word that you'd use to describe Joe Cabray.
Boss. He's my boss. I know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Smart. He's a lot smarter than, like, not that he's not given credit, but it's very seldom you have a promoter that has a great wrestling mind and a great business mind. You put them two together.
Mm-hmm.
Genius is the word.
Genius.
I'm not licking up there now for the business, but if it helps.
Callum actually said hero.
Hero. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Especially after this, when he brings back the skill.
From what I know of him, he's like, I'd go with along what you were saying. Like, he's a genius. He's a visionary.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Callum is probably closer to him than I am, to be honest.
No, I am. Joe trained Callum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's a bit closer than I would be with him.
Mm-hmm. So getting into the dressing room now. So the lads and the ladies in the dressing room. Is there anyone who you'd say, no, not in a bad way, but is there anyone who you'd say is the most annoying in the dressing room?
If you're not in the humour, it would be Martina. Because she's just hyper all the time. She's never in a bad mood, which is a good thing. It's a great thing, obviously. But if you're not in the humour, like, her or else, I'm sorry, mate, but I love you, but Justy, if you're not in the humour, man, that fella just doesn't shut up. He doesn't shut up. Man, we had a drive down to Cork one time, and Paul was driving, and he took the wrong turn, which turned into a 4.5 hour journey, and we had Justy in the back for that. My ears were bleeding, man. My ears were bleeding. Sorry, Justy, I love you, dude, but Jesus, man, shut up.
So who do you think has the best ringer?
Best ringer?
Is there anyone's gear that you've looked at and said, oh, that's good? I'd love a bit of that.
Flex's new gear is nice. I like the tights that he's buying at the minute. But other than that, Scotty Davis gets pretty cool. He gets pretty cool gear. Yeah. Debbie's new gear looks class, that she didn't get to show off yet because it was supposed to be for the stadium. There was a lot of design and thought went into that, but hopefully you get to see that then.
Yeah,
I seen a picture because I also got some new gear for it, so I seen the picture with that, and yeah, it's great design.
Cool. So who would be the best to room with if you were traveling?
Anyone who doesn't snore. I can't deal with a snorer, mate. Paul was having an asthma attack one time when we were in England. I was having a nightmare that someone was dying of breathing problems, and I woke up and it was Paul legit dying of breathing problems. I was like, where's your inhaler, man? I'll get it for you. I didn't bring it. But Who was the best? Did you say
Who was the best? Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Like I said, anyone who doesn't snore, I
Cool.
could deal with.
And is there anyone in particular then who would be the worst?
No, anyone who does snore, or anyone who's like a smoker or something, because I wouldn't be having them smoke in my room.
Cool. Who would you say has the best taste in music?
Me.
Anyone apart from yourself?
I don't know, man, because it's hard. Like a lot of them are into big heavy metal rock, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't be into. Like I like a bit of rock for my gym playlist and stuff, but I wouldn't be into heavy stuff too heavy. But it's hard. I don't know anyone's really music taste because it'd be in their ears, like you know what I mean. They wouldn't be playing it out loud because they'd be told to shut up. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Just me, because just legend. Right?
Anyone you think that has the worst taste in music? So have you ever been traveling with someone, or just traveling to a show, or even in a car journey, and they just have some absolutely dreadful stuff on?
No, probably Paul, man. He listens to like Shania Twain and stuff, like you know. Like I could put anything from Oasis to One Direction on, for God's sake, to anything like Codeline. Picture this, like then there's rocky stuff and there's rap stuff, and you know. Well, yeah, he's listening to he loves Shania Twain. Your one who sang the Titanic song, what's her name, Celine Dion.
Yeah.
He loves all that shit, man. Like you know, I don't know, crazy.
Right, so this is a bit more visual then. So who would you say has the best dress sense?
Dress sense. Ooh. Sammy D. Sammy D.
Wasn't brought up in my previous conversation.
I think I know.
No.
He showed up. He showed up to that Zach Gibson one the show in Tala.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that one. I think it was the other one. I reunited with Debbie, and I was wearing cargo trousers, and Key actually Callum Black was like, he said, "Is that what CT stands for? You know, cargo trousers."
Sorry, mate, your sound's just gone there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, back there now.
Yeah, okay. I like when someone wears something that like is probably looked at as a bit crazy, but when they have the balls to wear it, it looks cool.
Cool. The worst dress sense?
Worst dress sense.
Any outrageous numbers that you're seeing?
Seeing the fabulous Nicky. Sometimes he could dress nice. He was going to be the one until I thought Sammy for the best, but he's also the worst at times as well. Sometimes he wears stuff that you're like, what the hell? He's wearing his nanny's curtains or something. Like, I think he legit wore something before that. I was like, did you just wear your nanny's curtains? You know? Yeah, fabulous Nicky.
That's something that I was actually meant to say to you earlier when you actually when you fought him, and was it him and Angel?
Angel Cruz, yeah.
You had a 3-on-2. And you were saying about your flame trousers and stuff like that.
Yeah. It looked like I was supposed to team with him, and he was
Nicky was wearing, like, it doesn't matter what you wear if you're in there with Nicky. Nicky's wearing the most outrageous stuff in there, like
it looked like he was auditioning for Moulin Rouge. Yeah. So that was crazy.
So the last question then. So who's the longest in the shower?
Longest in the shower, as in length of time?
Take it up whatever way you want.
In terms of in terms of the thing we probably shouldn't be talking about, I would say myself or Darren Kearney. I hope he's of age. Other than import, what is his name? Jody Fleisch. Firehose. That's all I'll say. I heard Osprey's the same, but I haven't seen. But I got a full visual of Jody, and I was like, "Yeah, your nickname is the tripod now." Well, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. Not to float my own boat, but yeah, I'm up there, definitely, 100%.
Oh, so that's the lot of the quick fire questions. There's some great answers in there. I really enjoyed them. But yeah, that's pretty much I have for this episode.
Yeah, sweet man.
So I just want to thank you very much, CT, for coming on.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. We're after going just over 2 hours.
2 hours,
You
man.
said that I'd
Jesus.
find it hard to get an hour out of you. We're after going well
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah,
two.
yeah.
And I really do appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks very
Um,
much for having me.
and just can't wait to get back to wrestling. Hopefully August is where we're looking at.
Yeah,
Hopefully they don't push it too quick for obvious reasons. Um, but yeah, can't wait to get back and see you in person then as well.
yeah.
Um,
Just
but
want to say thanks for having me on, Colin, and thanks to all the fans for the questions and the support. And without your support, I don't keep getting booked on shows. So keep it coming, please. So yeah, thanks very much for having me, Colin.
no problem. It was an absolute pleasure. So just for anybody who's listening or watching, if you could just get on to social media, if you could follow CT on Twitter at CT Flexor and Instagram at CT underscore Flexor. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, the same handles at KOOK underscore pod. And if you're watching on YouTube, kicking out Kayfabe. If you're not watching on YouTube, please go on, hit the subscribe button, and leave comments. Let me know how we're doing, anything that you'd like to see, anything that we can change. But again, CT, thanks very much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I can't wait to see you again soon. And thanks everyone for listening.
Appreciate it, man.
Until next
Thanks.
time,
Thanks for all the
thank you.
support. Thanks, guys.